If you're visiting Madeira, chances are you'll be spending at least some time in its pretty capital, Funchal, which sits on the island's south coast. In this video, we'll share 20 things to do, see, eat and drink around the city, all based on our own trip in June. I've pulled together a free map and written guide that links to everything I'll show you in this video. You can access the map and guide by scanning the QR code on screen or clicking the link in the description below this video. Let's get started. Take a walk up Avenida Arriaga, Funchal's main boulevard, lined with tall trees, mosaic pavements, and a steady stream of people going about their day. If there's a festival on, there might be displays of some sort along the streets. When we visited in June, there was this really cool art installation running all the way up the avenue. On the streets you'll also find the Municipal Garden. It's only small, but it has an amphitheatre, a pond and exotic plants. It's a good place to have on your radar if you need a sit down while you're exploring the centre. If you fancy trying Madeiran wine, Blandy's Wine Lodge is right by the garden. You can book yourself onto a tour if you want to learn how the wine is made, or head to the beautiful tasting room if you're just there for the sampling. We were given a selection of 4 wines each, ranging from very sweet to very dry, although honestly even the driest wasn't that dry. That said, we typically don't choose sweeter wines and still enjoyed the tasting session. Visit the 15th century Funchal Cathedral. It's one of the oldest buildings on the island, built using thousands of volcanic rocks taken from the nearby cliffs. Step inside and you'll see an eye-catching wooden ceiling done in this geometric pattern. It's free to go in and doesn't take long, so it's worth adding to your itinerary. Next to the cathedral is Municipal Square, surrounded by several interesting buildings, including the 18th century town hall. I loved the look of the floor, which is covered in black and white tiles arranged in a wave pattern. If you didn't guess from the name of the airport, Cristiano Ronaldo is from Madeira, so while you're in Funchal you can swing by his statue down by the Marina. If you're a football fan, next to the statue is the CR7 Museum, dedicated to Ronaldo's career. A short walk from the CR7 Museum is Santa Catarina Park, which sits just above the city and has great views over the port. It's well landscaped and it's a peaceful spot to relax for a while. There's also a couple of small cafes if you fancy a drink or something to eat. Take a dolphin and whale watching tour. There are different options, but we chose a speedboat tour with a marine biologist. This turned out to be an absolute highlight of our time in Funchal. We spotted pilot whales, bottlenose dolphins, Atlantic spotted dolphins, hammerhead sharks, and even flying fish. And even if we hadn't seen anything, zooming along on a speedboat was great fun, but seeing whales was our main goal, so I'm really glad that we did. The biologist and the captain were respectful of the animals, following rules like only 2 boats being allowed near the animals at once and not for longer than 10 minutes. The speedboats could get pretty bumpy, so if you're prone to seasickness or you just prefer something a little bit more relaxing, then you can go on a catamaran whale watching trip instead. But if you fancy flying across the water and increasing your chances of spotting sea life, I'd recommend the speedboat. If you want to check out the tour yourself, I'll add a QR code here and a link to the description below the video. Stroll along Funchal's pretty seafront promenade. You'll find little cafes, food trucks, sculptures, and of course, plenty of boats to watch entering and leaving the harbour. It's also along the seafront that you'll find a colourful Madeira sign, which makes a great photo op. Take a walk around the bright yellow fort of Sao Tiago. This 17th century fort is free to enter and offers lovely views out over the ocean. That said, there isn't much to see in there, so I wouldn't go out of your way for it, but just pop in if you're nearby. There's also an area next to the fort where people swim, which takes me to my next point. Funchal, and Madeira in general, isn't really a beach destination. But if you need to cool down while you're exploring the city, there are a couple of spots around the centre of Funchal where you can stop for a quick dip or a paddle. As well as the area in front of the fort, there's a small rocky beach conveniently located just off the promenade. Personally, because it is completely rocky, I wouldn't spend long there, but on a hot afternoon when we just wanted to take a break by the sea and dip our feet into the water, it was really handy. The Marina complex has changing rooms, lockers, sunbeds and parasols, plus a lifeguard. It's also right next to one of our favourite food and drink spots in Funchal, which I'll get to later. If you don't mind a 10 to 15 minute drive out of the centre, you'll find better swimming options at the Pebble Beach of Praia Formosa, some natural rock pools, or a nearby Lido complex. In the old town you'll find the Farmers Market, set inside a beautiful Art Deco style building. Visit on a Friday or Saturday morning when local vendors come from other parts of Madeira to sell their produce. The market is colourful, lively and ideal if you enjoy staring at tropical fruits that you've never heard of. You might even get to sample some. Just make sure that you check prices before you buy, because some stalls are known for charging absurdly high rates. Just around the corner on Rua de Santa Maria, you'll find the Painted Doors project, where dozens of old doors have been transformed into colourful murals by local artists. This street and the surrounding area are perfect for a wander around what is basically an open-air arts gallery. It's especially enjoyable in the morning before all the restaurants open. Take the cable car up to Monte. The ride takes about 15 minutes and gives you a great view over the bay. This is a popular way for visitors to travel from Funchal to Monte Palace Gardens, which I'll cover in a minute. But I think even if I wasn't planning to visit the gardens at the top, I'd still want to have a go on the cable car because it is an experience in itself. There's also a second cable car connecting Monte Palace Gardens to Madeira Botanical Garden, which I'll also cover shortly. Just to clarify though, there are 2 separate gardens and 2 separate cable cars, one from Funchal to Monte and the other from Monte to the Botanical Garden. If you want to ride both cable cars and visit both gardens, you'll need separate tickets for each. For something that's definitely a bit different, just a short walk from the cable car you'll find the start of the Wicker toboggan ride. In the early 19th century, these baskets did used to be a form of transport, to take locals quickly from Monte to Funchal, although these days it's definitely more of a tourist activity. Sitting in a handcrafted wicker basket, you're pushed for about 10 minutes halfway down the hill. It is really good fun, although I don't think it felt quite as fast as it looks. It is a bit pricey, with the cost depending on how many people are in your basket. However, it's certainly a unique experience, and I'd say it's one of those things that's worth doing once, as long as you get there early enough to beat what can be a very long queue, especially if there's a cruise ship in. Once you're done, you can take the 20-minute walk back down into Funchal, but just bear in mind that the road is very steep. There is also the option of a bus or a taxi. Monte Palace Tropical Garden is a sprawling, peaceful garden full of koi ponds, Portuguese tiles, Zimbabwean sculptures, little waterfalls, wandering peacocks, and much more. Even if you're not usually into gardens, you might enjoy this one because there's such a variety of things to see. Another solid option for plant lovers is Madeira Botanical Garden, which boasts a very impressive collection of exotic plants from all around the world. The highlight is arguably the striking display in the middle of the garden. There's also plenty of great views over Funchal throughout the gardens, including from the cafe if you fancy coffee and cake. As mentioned earlier, if you're wanting to combine these gardens with Monte Palace Gardens, there's a cable car connecting the two. However, if 2 gardens in one day sounds like plant overload to you, personally I preferred Monte Palace, so if I was to only visit one garden, that would be the one that I'd choose. Now, let's talk food. Make sure you try bolo de caco, a delicious garlicky flatbread that you'll find almost everywhere. Get it as a side dish or order it as a sandwich. We particularly enjoyed pregu especial. This is crispy bolo de caco filled with steak, lettuce, tomato, cheese and ham. Sometimes you even get an egg in it too. We really liked the pregu at Marina Bar Cafe, partly for the food and partly for the atmosphere. They have a great location right by the water, and sometimes they have music on in the evenings. Of course, seafood is a big deal on the island, with tuna in particular being abundant. If you haven't had it before, I'd recommend trying fish with a side of fried polenta. Local classic dishes also include black scabbard fish, lightly fried and served with banana and passion fruit sauce. We tried a couple of different takes on it and it was really good both times. If you're feeling extra hungry, then I'd recommend trying Restaurant Londres. They have huge portions at a good price. Another great option is Bella Snack Bar 5. If you've done any research on Funchal, you've probably already come across recommendations for this chilled out, budget-friendly place. Just know it really is that popular for good reason. For a more modern setting, we also enjoyed Taberna Madeira. Also, I want to mention Restaurant Informal, where they offer a lunch deal with bread, main course, dessert and coffee for €16. Another dish to try is espetada, which is grilled beef skewers seasoned with salt and garlic. You can find it at places around Funchal, but if you have time, I would recommend heading to the nearby village of Câmara de Lobos, which has several traditional restaurants known for espetada. We liked restaurant Opala, where we shared a huge beef skewer covered in garlic butter. If you have a sweet tooth, try Madeira's sticky honey cake, or queijada, a sweet cheese pastry. As for drink, our absolute favourite local drink in Madeira had to be poncha. This is a very strong mix of sugarcane rum, honey, and freshly squeezed fruit juice. The traditional orange and lemon flavour was my favourite, but there were loads to try. We liked Rei de Poncha, a busy little place with loads of flavours to try, outdoor seating, and even a takeout window. If you like sweet drinks, then try Nikita, which is essentially a boozy milkshake. It's made with pineapple, ice cream, and beer, and is very Moorish. We did see many places offering an alcohol-free version as well. For beer lovers, the local beer you'll see everywhere is Coral. It's a light golden beer that goes down well on a warm day. However, if like us you love your hoppy IPAs, you'll also find plenty of places for craft beer around the city too. Madeira is known for having a packed schedule of festivals throughout the year, so it's worth checking if your visit overlaps with any fun events. Our Madeira trip in June coincided with the Atlantic Festival, which took place over 4 weekends and featured fireworks and music over the bay. While this video was focused on Funchal, we do have another video coming up sharing how we spent 7 days in Madeira without hiring a car. Once that's ready, I'll link it here. Thanks for watching.